Hey guys, Robin with Big Doodle Dreams, and today this is Mr. Cooper, and Mr. Cooper is a golden doodle. He is a first generation golden doodle, and that's why he's much larger than what you typically see on my table. So he is bigger because he is first generation. So parents are full-blooded golden retriever, full-blooded poodle. He is not mine. He was not produced here. He comes to me for grooming, and that's why he's here. So the topic of this video is choosing a dog breed that best suits your needs in your household and what you're wanting in a dog. Because I don't know if everybody else read it, but I recently read an article where it said that dog behaviors such as circling, barking, all these things are common in all breeds, and that people shouldn't be afraid, because the information is, one breed doesn't do that or doesn't, and they pretty much said that all breeds do all behaviors. So every breed spins in circles. Every breed will bark. Every breed, and not taking into account the degree in which and the frequency. And there's a huge difference from a bulldog to an Australian shepherd. Seriously. So this, I wanted to share, this was pulled off of his coat using this really interesting, cool tool. This was cheap. I purchased this at Walmart. There are far more expensive ones online, but it works perfectly fine for the purpose. So he had already been dried. So I've got my blower right here. Yeah. So he'd already been dried, and now I'm going through essentially pulling out whatever loose undercoat is in there. So this is what I'm getting, and this is how much I've gotten. And then I'm going to scissor and tidy up some areas, and I'm also going to shave a few little areas. So I might tell you what I'm doing while I'm doing it. I did want to share a couple of really cool things. So this is a 10 blade, again, for areas that you're not going to see, but areas that get matted. So sanitary, between the pads, certain places on the dog, you're going to use this. What I'm going to tell you is, if you run it and run it and run it and run it and run it, it gets hot. Or you can invest in the ceramic blade. And to give you an idea, if you can see the ceramic portion, that's not what touches the dog. The metal is what touches the dog. And just like I showed you in the other video when I was running and I mashed it into my hand, it doesn't cut. But that ceramic part makes it so that this blade doesn't get hot, or as hot as a typical blade. And let's see. Yeah, here's comparison. The metal versus the ceramic. So this one will get hotter, but this is a much bigger blade, as you can see, and versus my 10, which is hardly anything. This is a 4. I love 4. 4 is what I use on main coat. So this is it's almost 10 millimeters is what it leaves behind. So back to this ceramic blade, going back onto my clippers. You'll see I have cordless clippers, and then I have corded clippers. Corded clippers are a pain. The cord goes everywhere. It's a pain. So going back to choosing a breed. If you're a really high energy person and you're always on the go and you want a dog that is just super intelligent, gonna learn it all, and you're willing to put the time and the effort in and to continue providing it, then yeah, maybe a herding breed is for you. Maybe an Australian or a border, maybe one of those breeds is for you. But if you do your research, you'll find that those breeds are intended for farm life. And if you really want to see that, if you go on TikTok, you can see where those breeds are actually working livestock. If you type in Australian stock dog working cattle, I'm sure you'll find plenty of videos showing you what they're capable of doing. And amazing. I mean, just amazing talent. But in the wrong house, in the wrong place, in the wrong environment, the breed can be very difficult to handle. So when you begin to consider what you want a dog, you really do need to look at each breed. Just because you like the way that their appearance is, doesn't mean that it's going to be the breed for you. You know, some people are interested in having a dog that's going to protect them, and they think they should get a German Shepherd. All right, German Shepherds have some serious drive. If they're not trained, if you just think you're going to stick them in the backyard and leave them there, and it's going to work out great, you probably haven't planned well. They need training. And it's not just getting them trained in the beginning and then saying, okay, we don't ever have to practice that again. No, not accurate. You do need to practice it again and again and again and again. It's not something that they learn and then you just don't do it again. They are a dog that sheds like unbelievable, the German Shepherd, and their drive is crazy. So you really do have to take things into account. And then of course you have to think about, as far as that dog is concerned, do you have allergies in the house? Because that's where the poodle comes into play. What I will say, and I'm an asthmatic. I have asthma, I have allergies, I've gone through all the allergy shots in the world, it feels like. So if your kiddo has allergies, don't just buy a dog because somebody said that it was hypoallergenic. Go visit, and go visit without the intent of bringing home, and explain that to your kiddo. We're not bringing home, we're just going to go visit, and we're going to see, and really do your investigating on whether or not it's a good breed. I can tell you that I have always been allergic to terriers, even though terriers typically are a non-shedding, most of them are almost completely non-shedding. Their coats are greasy to me. I react. I always have. I react to them. But that doesn't mean that your kid would be in the same boat. It's just simply that was my experience. So every breed is different. Come here, baby. We gotta turn you. You're so big. I know. I need the foot though. Oh, good boy. Every single breed is different. This guy is a golden retriever and a poodle. Well, a golden retriever is a water retriever. So you know that they like water, and you know that they like to carry something in their mouth and bring it back to you, retrieving. And possibly mixing the two, throwing the ball into the lake and having your big guy go out and get it. So when you mix a water retriever and a water retriever, you get water retriever. If you were not allergic and you chose golden retriever, same thing, water retriever without all the maintenance of a non-shedding coat. When you switch to a non-shedding coat, you increase, obviously, your grooming care, your grooming bills. And if that's a concern, then you should do your research and contact a few of the grooming facilities near you to see how much they're charging for that service, so that you can start to think about what monthly expenses adding in a non-shedding breed would be. Something I always warn people, you're considering a dog, you're considering adding a dog to the family. If you've got kids in diapers, chances are you're really busy. And you're going to be trying to train your kids to be potty trained. And training a puppy may not be the best time to do it. And I typically get the response of, oh, well, but I really want my kid to have that experience. Okay, Do you remember anything when you were 2 or 3? Because I don't, ever. I don't have any memory of that. I think my first memory, I must have been 5 or 6. So don't, if you've got just one kiddo that's a year or 2, and they're going to grow up with them, they're not going to remember it at 1 or 2. They might if they're a little bit older, and they'll be a little bit more mature. And the puppy is not going to be right up in their face, because a toddler and with that, puppy jumping, nipping. I mean, puppies, that's what puppies are. So as you begin to think, and as it's not even just your family dynamics, it's where you live. If you live in the country, if you live in the city, if you live in an apartment, because not all breeds are suited for an apartment. You certainly don't want to have a breed that tends to bark a lot in an apartment, and if you work a lot. So these things get taken into account, but then of course the breed gets, like I said, don't just buy a puppy because it was cute. That's not going to be helpful in the long run. You really do need to pair up what you want in a dog and actually purchase a breed that suits what you're looking for in a breed. Hunting dogs. When you think about hunting dogs, a lot of people will think of the hounds that are chasing whatever vermin they're chasing, whether it's a raccoon or a fox or whatever it is that they're going after. Okay, that's totally different from a hunting dog that's a water retriever. Your behaviors are different in those breeds. So don't think that just because something is categorized as being a hound, that is referring to the behaviors of the chasing and the barking. Obviously, if you have cats, you don't want to choose a sighthound. You don't want to choose a greyhound or an Afghan or a Borzoi. These hounds watch and chase animals. We have to turn you around. That, or I may have to work on your face. Let's see. I'm going to put this over here. Come here. You're just being so lazy on me. Thank you. So as you begin to think about your living situation and what you're wanting in a breed, maybe you have a piece of property, so you want something that's going to guard your property. But are you going to leave the animal outside, or is this animal going to come inside? You certainly don't want to place a dog outside expecting them to guard when in fact this is not what they were intended to do. And without a doubt, not all breeds are suited for outside life. The breeds that are the ones that are your livestock guardians. Your the Great Pyrenees. Do your research. They tend to sleep during the day, and they're awake at night. The Great Pyrenees. They are a nighttime breed, and it's actually bred into them, and that's part of their behavior, and that's what makes them such a great livestock guardian. So, is that the kind of breed that's going to best suit you? You really should do your research before you just purchase something. Just because the Great Pyrenees was bred with the poodle doesn't mean that the offspring are not going to be nighttime guardians. They might be. They might have a stronger desire to be outside. Great Pyrenees are way more interested in staying outside and being with the animals that are outside and doing their job. So mixing with a poodle does not mean that you're going to have the outcome that you were looking for. You really do need to do your research into the breeds, and not just the research into them. Like, I can tell you the King Charles Cavalier Spaniel, absolutely adore the breed. They're beautiful. They are very sweet. They're just, it's a nice breed. I have no complaints. That's a nice breed. However, do your research, find out life expectancy is 7 to 9 years. and it's because of a heart condition, and there is no health testing for it. So they can't even eliminate it from the genetic lines. So no matter who you buy from, you risk that your dog will die at a young age. And for a breed that is much smaller, that's sad. And if the life expectancy is 8 years, and you got the dog when your kids were just little itty bitty, now they're going to lose the dog, during what, their growth and development. They're going to lose that best friend long before they go to college. So, again, maybe not, do your research. Don't just choose something because of looks. Oh yes, and blue eyes are so tempting, right? Yep. Watch a few of my videos about color genetics and the relation between deafness and blindness. Colors can determine deafness and blindness. Dogs that are white or more white and have blue eyes are highly likely that they have some form of deafness or blindness or both. And it's related to colors. That's all it's related to. Breeders that have not investigated colors and what can happen, they are the ones that are responsible for creating dogs that are deaf and blind related to colors. It's sad. Very, very, very sad. I have 3 videos on my YouTube channel covering that topic because it's so important, and it doesn't make sense not to take care of it. So, yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but once you've narrowed it down and said, okay, I think, and then you determine a breed that you think is best for you, doesn't mean that you just go out and look in the newspaper and buy the first one, or go on Craigslist and buy the first one. That's not how you're going to do it. If you think the breed is right for you, well, then you need to be able to go meet one, go see one, go interact with one, call a breeder, ask questions, talk about long-term health and long-term behavior. Ask what problems they've seen in the breed, behavioral and health. Ask about the health testing. You really have to investigate. Just purchasing a dog because it was cute is not, it's not the way to do it. If you want to be really happy, make sure you choose the right breed. No, they're not all the same. It's very disappointing to see an article like that, especially in broad spectrum news, where it was, clear for everybody to see, and that just doesn't. They only looked at dogs in regular homes, so meaning a family that owned a single dog, and asked for the behavior in that dog. And that's not a breeder that has 10 of that breed has a much greater knowledge base for that breed, is going to be able to identify things. Probably a great example of it is if you watch a dog show. So if you go online and you watch a dog show, choose a single breed and watch them go around the ring, watch them interact. Just one breed, not like Best in Show, but one breed, one single breed. And then look for observable behaviors that are evident throughout, meaning behaviors that you saw in multiple dogs of the same breed. So, great example, English Cocker Spaniel. Not an American Cocker, not a Springer. English Cocker, English Cocker Spaniel. The one thing I noted when I observed them is that every single one of them jumped up on their owner. All of them did it. It was consistent across the board. Obviously, if you don't want a dog that jumps up, that's probably not the breed for you, because they do like to jump up. But it's a smaller breed, 30 pounds, and therefore their jumping up is not like a Great Dane jumping up. But it was a very observable behavior. When you observe behaviors, you want to see it where it's consistent throughout multiple examples of a single breed. So that's where you can see observable behaviors. But because it's a controlled setting, you're not going to be able to see other behaviors that might be more consistent and more apparent if you see them, in their natural home. So asking an owner that has a single dog what behaviors they've observed is not the same as asking a breeder about the observable behaviors and the frequency and the tendency and occurrences. I can tell you that there is a difference from a girl that is spayed versus a girl that is in heat, or a girl that is intact, or a girl that is pregnant. Behaviors change. Pregnancy does something to them. I find that my girls are silly and they'll run into things. I've had them run into the glass door at my door. They behave silly too. So they'll do and they'll respond to other dogs differently than what they normally would have. So I have girls that have been best friends from the very beginning, and they come into heat and their behavior changes. So that behavior is related to hormones rather than to breed, the actual breed of the dog. But a breeder's outlook, one that's involved, has much greater knowledge base and foundation than a person that only has one or two dogs. So no, if you were looking to investigate certain breeds, certain this, certain that, don't just run out and buy that first cute puppy that you see, because it's not a good idea. You want success, make sure you shoot for success right at the very beginning. Don't just choose something because of looks. Looks is not the entire dog. Oh my goodness, buddy. You are so cute. You are so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. It's a wet face. You have a wet face. You sure do. So, all right. Well, I got to finish him, and then I'm going to be getting his brother up here. Yes. You're almost done. I got a little bit. I know. He lays down the whole time. It does make it interesting because I might miss a spot, and then I get him up. Sometimes I get him off the table, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? Really? That they get comfortable, and it's good. It's good, but it does make it a little more difficult to get you done. So I got to focus my attention on him. And yeah, it was great, and I'm going to cover some more additional material in the next video. Talk to you guys later.